Welcome to MoggyBoxCraft. I'm Deborah and today we are redecorating my dining room. Here's a little sneak preview. So now we've seen what I'm going to create and what I'm going to do to the walls, let me show you how I did it. Here's a little bit of footage of how it looked before. I think we last decorated this room 4 years ago. So yeah, the room is very grey and white and sort of boring. Well, there wasn't a whole lot of creative input here. So there's a lot of polyfilling to be done. This is the one I like to use. It's pre-mixed, easy to apply and really easy to sand. So my dad actually helped a lot with the prep for this room. For all the skirting boards and doors, we've done an undercoat of Dulux once in brilliant white. Goes on nice and thick, covers most things, and you generally only need one coat, like it says on the tin. After our undercoat of matte white, I applied this Dulux Once Gloss in pure brilliant white for wood and metal. We also have a couple of shelves over here. This is our bar area, so I thought that needed a bit of a sand and a tidy up as well. And I've given it 3 coats of this varnish. Ronseal Interior Varnish in medium oak. So I think this took 3 coats to get the colour I wanted. We were also working with old varnish that was already on there, so it is what it is. So there has been a lot of polyfilling and prep work done to this room already. I perhaps have been a little bit messy while doing these shelves, but all that paint slosh on the walls will be getting painted over. God, I have made a right mess up there. Never mind. Now we've done all the prep work, it's time to move on to the colour. That wall where the shelves are, that's going to be white. And this section in here is just going to be white as well. Where was I at with this? The first coat of white is on the alcoves, just in here and in here. Yeah, it's a bit like a paint factory in here, because I'm mixing my own colours. I couldn't find exactly the colour I wanted. I still don't know if it's the colour I really want. Here we are. I've got these Tupperware dishes and a kitchen scales. I've mixed together a few different colours. So we've got this walls and ceilings Cabra in this matte limey yellow colour. This blue colour, I think it's called Marcel, in a matte. We've got Dulux Easy Care for bathrooms in the colour Teal Touch. And I've mixed them together with my white paint. So we've got a lovely collection of mixed paint. This is the greenest colour I've got. It's 200 grams of the blue, 100 grams of the lime, and 100 grams of white. This is a slightly more greeny blue. We've got 200 grams of the blue, 50 grams of the lime, and I think that was 50 grams of white. And then we've got 200 grams of the blue and 150 of white. So now I've got all my paints mixed, I'm just going to put random splodges on the walls. Now I've done a whole load of splodges with this colour. Let's move on to this colour. Slightly lighter, slightly less green. Yeah, looks good. Next up, the light blue. It's looking really random, I know, but just keep going with it, it's fine. So, I've done a whole load of this now. I'm going to go in with a neat blue paint in Marcel, I think that's what it's called. I'm just going to go and fill in all those little gaps. Kind of looks like a bit of an atlas gone wrong. That's okay. Well, I hope so. Too late now. So now I'm going to wait for this wall to dry. While I'm doing that, I'm going to paint the rest of the walls in here. The walls have now been drying for about a week. For the top coat, I'm going to be using 5 different types of paint. Again, couldn't find the paint colours I wanted, and because I had a lot of paint already, I thought I would just mix some of them together. For the top coat, you're going to need a water spray and a natural sea sponge. This is how my sea sponge looks. It's got quite a lot of dog hair in it. It's been through the washing machine. First thing to do, go and wet your sea sponge. I suppose I should do that then, shouldn't I? My sea sponge is damp now, kind of about as wet as a beauty blender. That's kind of what you want. First colour I'm going to put on the walls with the sea sponge is this lovely teal blue colour. Here's the second colour I'll be using. It's really quite a bright pea green. So I haven't got any measurements for this one. I've just mixed blues and lime greens together until I got the colour I wanted. Third colour, a smoky teal. So I've mixed equal parts Teal Touch and Princeton, which is like a grey colour. My fourth colour, a much darker smoky blue. To get this colour, I've mixed again equal parts Liberty, which is a black paint, Princeton, the dark grey colour again, and Teal Touch. And my final colour is Ardent Bright in Antique Gold. I love this colour, if you haven't already guessed. It's all over furniture in my house. I'm going to start off with the lightest blue colour, Teal Touch. Oh, with all these colours, I have watered them down just to make it a little bit easier. And I am spraying them down and keeping them quite wet. And also to keep my sponge quite wet as well. Damp that sponge in your paint. I am going to pop a glove on the hand I'm using to hold the sponge. Because if not, this could end up really messy. Where the lightest blue is, I'm just going to sponge on this colour. This is completely open to interpretation. You just put your splodges wherever the heck you want. Fabulous. Right, on to my very light pea green. I'm not even going to bother washing my sponge. I'm going to just go straight into the paint. Like so. Maybe just spray it with a bit more water. Dab, dab, dab. More paint on your sponge. I like to think it's better when they all start mixing together. So, with the green colour, I'm just going to go in to the areas that have got green on them. We're going to start to blur and smudge those lines together. Okay. Moving on to our third colour. I am decanting some of these colours onto lids of Tupperware, just to make my life a little bit easier. Onto our third colour, again, not washing my sponge. Let's just enjoy the creative process. So with the third colour, I'm going to go a bit more heavy-handed. Just start smudging that all over the place. And just keeping everything really random. I'm just going to want to leave a little bit of the blue and green peeking through. Now I've put on a good blob of that grey, I'm going to go in with the darkest grey colour. Still haven't washed my sponge, and I'm not going to wash the sponge. I'm just going to keep dabbing and painting. Let's carry on, shall we? So after a dab, do the first little bit. I am turning my sponge to the side just to diffuse that colour a little bit. And just going in really randomly. What I'm aiming for is just little pops of the green and blue just splashing through, which I will add in a little bit more just to give an extra pop at the end. But for the moment, I'm just going to continue filling up this space, bouncing the sponge loads, just to help all the colours smudge together. I'm going to continue painting with my two darkest colours. Just going to alternate between the both of them. Doing this part could take some time before you get the exact colour that you like in the composition. I've smudged as much paint on as I want. Now I'm going to go in with a little bit more detail with some more blue. So I dropped my sponge on the floor. There's dog hair on it now, excellent. So very gently tapping into the blue paint. So there's not that much on my sponge. So very strategically, just tapping on tiny little blue in the odd few areas. Just so I've got a pop of colour. Yeah, I think that's enough blue. I'm going to do the same with the green. Tiny little bit of green on my sponge. Tiny, tiny amount. Make sure your sponge is still damp. Just tap on the tiniest amount of green. Again, using the edge of my sponge, just going to blend in those edges. Every now and again, just stand back and see how it looks. Make sure you're happy with how it's looking. And if there's any areas you don't like how they look, just add more colour. Yeah, I think we're getting there. So now I'm happy with how the wall's looking. I've got a tiny offcut of sea sponge. Again, I'm going to spray water into the paint and the sponge just to keep everything, well, keep everything a bit damp. I think that helps a lot. Now with this bit, you want to do this with quite a light hand. Don't press in too much. Just pop on the gold paint wherever you like. You just slowly build it up. Oh, remember to masking tape your ceiling and anything on the edges for this technique because it does go everywhere. I am going to finish doing this gold, do a few touch-ups. I've got a few chairs to upcycle, put the accessories back into the dining room and show you what it all looks like when it's finished. Dining room, I got some material. I already had this lovely crushed sort of gold cream. Pelle's had enough, obviously. I had this lovely crushed gold sort of looking fabric. I don't know where this came from, but I had it. These two crushed velvet materials I got from eBay. They're both really inexpensive. This beautiful teal colour is now my tablecloth. Don't judge my old lady tablecloth over the top. I spill way too much. Also the dog hair gets stuck in everything. So we need a nice plastic tablecloth. I got this one as well thinking it would be a nicer colour. It's not, but that's okay. I'm using this material and this material to recover my chairs. I recovered these chairs a while ago with this material. It's old, it's dirty and I'm bored of it. So it's time for a change. I've done two of the chairs with the green material and I'm doing the rest with this gold crushed velvet. Who doesn't love a bit of crushed velvet? So to change the fabric on my chairs, got a drill, unscrewed the seat, take the screws out, pop the frame of the chair to one side. So I'm left with my seat cover. Turn your seat cover upside down and with a screwdriver and a pair of pliers, I'm going to haul out all the staples that I put in to secure the material in place last time. So using a screwdriver to pull up those staples and if need be using the pliers to take them out. Just going to keep working around the seat until all the staples are out. All the staples are out now. I can get rid of this old piece of fabric. And we're left with the original chair seat. Yuck. I'm not even going to try to take this off. I'm just going to cover right over the top of this. Going to get my lovely crushed velvet material, place the good side face down, and then place this upside down on top of the material. Now you want to cut around your material, leaving an inch or two so it can fold over the chair. We've got a small invasion. Leaving an inch to 2 inches at each side so we can fold the material over and staple it in place. Try to do this as neatly as possible. I don't think it really matters too much. We're not going to see this bit. That can go out the way now. The best bit, staple gun in. So whatever side I start at, I'll staple that in place and then move on to the opposite side. Just don't staple any of your body parts to the table, the material out of the chair while you're doing this, okay? Be careful. Pull material up over the side. And you want the material taut but not too tight. Staple in place. Just whack in a whole load of staples in a row, turn your seat around and do the same at the opposite side. Again, keep material taut but not too taut. And repeat. Lovely. Seat is somewhat in place. So I've got these sides done. I'm now going to do the other two sides. So quick and easy. For the corners, I take one side, fold it in, staple in place. And then I'm just gonna kind of crinkle this around. I don't know how to describe this. I kind of just fold it in itself till it looks semi-neat. Do not staple your fingers. Staple in place. And that's how it looks. Not the neatest thing I've ever done, but no one's going to see it, so it's fine. Carry on, do the other corners. Are you helping? You're not helping, it's not treat time yet. All the corners are stapled in place. My seat cover is complete. Pop your seat cover back on the chair. Flip your chair around again. And with the nails that you took out, screw them back in. Perfect. And my chair is done. You also might have noticed that we've got no curtains behind us in the decking door area. I still can't decide what I want to put there, if I want to put up a voile or a curtain or blinds. So until such times, our window is going to be naked. So if you guys got any suggestions, let me know in the comments what you think, and hopefully you can help me make some sort of decision about it, because I can't decide. And yes, it did take a long time. It took me 3 full days of sponge painting the walls to get the finished look. It was worth it. I think it was totally worth it. If you've enjoyed this dining room makeover, leave a like, leave a comment, share and subscribe. I mean, subscribing is absolutely optional, but it is very much appreciated. So thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Bye!